All right, you've seen this sort of reversal in polling fortunes in the state of Florida, a Bloomberg poll that shows now Donald Trump is ahead. First time in a long time that's been the case, narrowing the race in New Hampshire. By the way, we're going to have some Fox polls out at 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight. I have them right here. No, wait a minute, maybe they're right here. But I'm just telling you, big stuff. But if they are narrowing, what does that mean? And where are we going these next 13 days? To former Obama Florida State Campaign Director Steve Shale and Heat Street political editor Jillian Melchior. All right, Jillian, let me get your take on 2 states. That's what we got. But what do you make of what's happening here?
Well, I think Obamacare would be an October surprise if it weren't so predictable. This is a real vindication of how Democrats' policies have hurt families. I mean, we saw Monday that on average, premiums are going to be going up 25%. That's significant at a time where most families say rising premium costs are a major budgetary concern for them. I will kind of carve aside the caveat that this was really Republicans' election to lose, and the fact that it is so neck and neck in states like Florida. Maybe not the greatest sign. Obamacare is really hurting, and the fact that it's still competitive, I think that tells a lot.
All right, well, it is what it is and where we stand right now. Steve, Florida always ends up being the most scrutinized of states. Does it deserve that disproportionate out of the norm range attention?
I think so. I may be biased, but I think you all should spend all your time talking about my state. No, I mean, listen, if you go back to 2000, 31 million people have voted for president in Florida, and 70,000 votes separate Republicans and Democrats. There's no battleground state in the country that's closer. So I think we've earned our place in the pantheon of battleground states.
So let me ask you, Steve, about that, because I asked Adam Shapiro on this. If the early ballots that have gone out, I think if memory serves me right, they're about split between Democratic ballots out, Republican ballots out. But I can't imagine it always goes to form that all Democratic ballots go to Democratic candidates and all Republican ballots go to Republican candidates. We live in a country in the aggregate that has more Democrats than Republicans, and obviously now and then some Republicans win. So what do you glean from that?
Well, I think a couple things. I mean, first of all, we're about 22% of our votes are in so far, about 2 million out of probably 9.2 million total votes. Republicans and Democrats are separated by 5,000 votes. Now, typically, Republicans have a bigger lead at this point in the election. They tend to run up the score and vote by mail. We tend to catch up an early vote, which is we've had 2 days of. So I think right now we're in an election that looks like it's leaning a little bit my way based on turnout, but pretty long ways to go.
But again, that's under the assumption then that those Democratic ballots are going to the Democratic candidate.
Well, I would say 2 things. First of all, I think that in Florida, the Democrats that used to vote Republican have largely switched parties. So our Democratic coalition is made up much more of minorities now. People are more predictable Democratic voters.
I see.
The other thing that's interesting is that about 28% of our electorate at this point are first-time voters. And so Hillary Clinton's operation really is in Florida turning out people who don't normally vote, compared to Republicans who are about 20%. They're turning out a lot more of their predictable voters. We're turning out a lot more new voters right now.
All right. Again, too early to say and early to confirm. But, Jillian, to that point, that is the one area where Donald Trump is weak. He doesn't have a great ground operation. Maybe Florida's a little different. But this was going to be the Hillary Clinton both money and manpower edge. Does that put Donald Trump at a disadvantage in this, one of the most important states?
It absolutely does, and I think he could be making a case with some of the economic news that's come out. I mean, if you look at how millennials are affected by Obamacare, I know in one state, if you're 27 years old, you'd be paying $422 a month for your insurance premiums. That's huge. That's insurance overkill in a lot of respects. But you're also looking at Florida. It's a state with a lot of millennials, a lot of immigrant millennials who are first-time voters.
And a lot of them don't like spending on this. You've seen this survey that shows that a lot of young people your age are more interested in just, putting that money away on beer and pizza and all of that, which would confirm Charlie Gasparino's worst impression of your generation, right?
Or saving or travel. I will also point out that I think part of Trump's struggle is that there are some very local scandals. I mean, if you look in Florida about allegations that the Trump Foundation paid Pam Bondi. That's unlawful.
I forgot about that.
That's a big scandal. I mean, it was a fraud investigation that she ended up not pursuing shortly after the Trump nonprofit had given her campaign money. So I think a lot of voters are looking at that.
But there's fraud to go around, I guess. And Steve, I'll end with you on this. And all the stuff that's coming out of WikiLeaks and all that might not get the same coverage, for example, as Donald Trump and all of the sex stuff and everything. Are you surprised at that, or are people kind of just used to this? They suspect the worst in politicians or the worst in candidates? What is it?
Neil, I would think probably all three of us could agree on one thing, which is the last thing any of us want is all of our emails on the internet. And a lot of things, frankly, I mean, if you strip aside all the sort of picking and choosing of things in there, what that actually is a fascinating read into how a campaign thinks. And I think going forward,
well, I read into that a lot of your colleagues in the campaign are worried about their nominee and worried about, playing cover for her.
Yeah, she's a weak nominee. She's a weak nominee in the fact that
let him answer. I'll let you. Go ahead, Steve.
I would say I'm pretty sure that most people in Brooklyn feel better about their nominee than most people in Trump Tower feel about theirs right now.
Fair enough.
I thought that was just a very mean comment, and I was hoping that you'd both rise above that. I have obviously overhoped. No, seriously, guys, we'll see how it sorts out. It is close there, always is, and that's been the case, gosh, since 2000, right?